Many times we're called upon to make presentations in our professional life or in other arenas of our life, whether it be church or civic organizations or whatever the case may be. And most folks are afraid of public speaking. As a matter of fact, it's often been quoted as the number one fear in America today. Although I think that recent surveys might show terrorism is a higher fear than public speaking, but really, public speaking shouldn't be that big of a deal for us. Gosh, I learned public speaking many years ago, and my earliest experiences actually came as a child when I learned that valuable lesson of always have notes if you're going to speak in public. I know they say professionals shouldn't have notes, but hey, I learned as a child I forgot my lines in a Cub Scout program. I reached in my pocket while all the adults were laughing. I pulled out that note sheet and I said, y'all wait just a minute while I get my notes out and read this. From that day forward, I've tried to have a few notes, just like I do today. I have notes right here that we'll look at later on. But when you get ready to make a speech in public or a presentation in public, think the acronym PACE, P-A-C-E, PACE. What is the purpose of the presentation? Are you trying to sell a product? Are you trying to sell an idea? Are you just trying to inform somebody about an issue or a particular item of interest? Or is it a status report on a project or a status report on a meeting or a status report on planning a major event? The purpose, what's the purpose? Next, who is your audience? Is your audience people who know a lot about the subject matter, or are you the subject matter expert as you're making this presentation? For example, if I'm talking about quality management systems, I'm pretty much an expert on that. I would expect there are people in the audience who would know something about it, who've been involved, but I should know a little more about it than they do. Or leadership. I've written a couple of books on the subject. I should know a little more about that subject. However, the main thing is to plan ahead. Know who your audience is. What do they expect? Do they expect an elementary level treatment of this subject, or do they expect a lot of information in a short time? So the purpose, then your audience. Now you're ready to think about the content. How detailed does it need to be? Are you trying to give them 3 days worth of material in an hour? Or are you trying to figure out what is the most important 25% of my presentation so that if I'm following somebody else on the program and my time gets cut short, what's that most important 25% that I want to get across to them? We always need to know that when we think of our content. Does it need to be technical? Does it need to be general? Does it need to be specific? Think ahead, pace, purpose, audience, content, and finally our expectations for this presentation. What do we expect to happen as a result of the presentation? Do we expect someone to purchase something? Do we expect them to consider a new idea? Or do we expect them to take some type of action? Have that call to action at the end of it. If we want somebody to do something, we need to let them know what we expect them to do as a result of this presentation. So when you're called upon to make a presentation in your professional life or in any arena of your life, think pace. The purpose of the presentation, the audience, who's going to be there, the content, how deep does it need to be? Can it be just notes or can it be slides? Can it be a handout? The content, how much information, and finally the expectations. What do you expect to happen as a result? Now, that's not in how you do the presentation, you see. We're talking about preparing for the presentation. Later on, we'll take a look at how you deliver the presentation. So for now, just think pace, purpose, audience, content, expectations.